Hello again. I've had a bit of a think, and I've decided that as this is a loft and I do need to store a lot of things up here, and I'm fast running out of storage space, I don't have an awful lot of space underneath here. Bear in mind I've got a lot of train boxes and things like that. I've also got lots of other boxes of random junk which can't go anywhere else. So I'm forced to have a total rethink and possibly a total redesign. Possibly a costly redesign. At the moment, this baseboard is only about less than 50 centimetres from the ground. It's about 45. I suppose it's about 50 centimetres, roughly. I don't actually think I measured it when I did it. I just started building it and that's where it ended up. So my rethink is I'm going to raise it up to where this line is here. So it's going to be higher. It will give me slightly less space in this gap between the two sloped upright bits, but it will give me about 90 centimeters of space between here. I won't go past here like this is. I think it will give me, because although this is a fairly big space, it's pretty much 10 foot by 4 foot, which is bigger than a lot of layouts in themselves. But I don't think it's going to be feasible for me to be reaching right over here, doing things, sorting out derailments and things like that. It's going to be an absolute pain. So the general design, this sloped section, is going to stay, as will this bit. I'm going to try and move it all in one go because it is on one section, so that should be easy enough. This will probably be destroyed, which is fine. It took me like 10 minutes to build. It's no big deal. It will be an absolute pain. I'll probably do one side at a time, probably starting with this side. I'll move all this junk, chuck it over there, dismantle this, raise it up bit by bit, and then see where I go from there, really. I think it's going to give me a lot more usable space, to be honest. I'll still have this section at the back, albeit it will be this much higher, which will give me a considerable amount of storage underneath. It's about 90 centimetres high, so it's almost double the storage underneath. Bearing in mind, on this bit here, as these slope out, there's going to be 90 centimetres of depth in a way of storage as well. So it's going to give me loads and loads of storage underneath. And it's going to be easier to get under to do all the wiring and things like that. Which I'm annoyed I put the wiring through. I ran all the bus wires. I thought I was being smart and being clever, but now I've got the realisation that probably wasn't a good idea to do that. It's all in the planning. I've never planned anything like this before to this scale, but I'm learning as I go along. So, recap, it's going to be this high, 90 centimetres across here. I'll still have it coming around here. I don't think I'm going to come around this side, so there's a bit of a narrow section there, but because this section's wider, that section can take most of the turns. I'll have a usable bit of space to fit stations and things like that there. I think I'll have a more usable space over this side, because this will be an exact replica. Whereas at the moment, I've got a relatively narrow bit of space. I've got these sections here, which I would have used for bits of scenery, but it would have been weird with these posts and things that I had to cut around originally. I was concerned before, and how I've actually built this, I've not actually fixed anything to these. Everything is on the floor. Since doing it and looking at other people's layouts, it seems pretty safe to actually screw cross pieces to these and mount the baseboard on it. I suppose I'm not an engineer or anything, and I know these types of loft can't take an awful lot of weight. They're not really designed for it. But with the if the baseboard's on the screw to these, I don't see it's an awful lot different to it being on the ground. I suppose the only difference is if they're screwed to these, it's the roof that's taking the weight of it. The roof's designed to take tons of snow and things like that. We don't really get snow, this is Devon. So it's a risk, but well, saying that, I don't think it's a risk. I think it's fine. I've seen loads of other layouts on the forums. People seem to think it's fine. It's not a big deal. So that's what I'm going to go with. Luckily I've screwed all my fittings. Hopefully the PVA that I've PVA'd over the top of them isn't going to cause too much of an issue to unscrew everything. But the bonus of this is, if we move up to the end section, so I'm still going to have the bridge, however now it's going to be this high, so it's going to be a crawl under bridge rather than a step over bridge. So when we come to this section here, what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to continue all the way along here, where I've got this bodged up section. That won't need to be like that anymore, because it will just be a continuous run all the way to the end there, and then a bridge coming across here at that same height, which will enable getting the loft ladder up a lot easier, and I'll possibly be able to fit maybe a third track on there, so I can have a longer run. So, which would be nice. And if we look from here, we'll go for a bit of a climb. So basically the track will run from there all the way up. That's how long the baseboard will be. So it's a decent size. I'm going to measure it in a minute and find out exactly how long it will be. Right, so from here all the way up to the very end where the track bends around, it's about 4.2 meters. So that's pretty good. And then across the back here will be about 3.5 meters. As in this run where this section here basically is. I think it's 3 meters now, so it's about 0.5 wider, and then those are going to be 0.9 meter.